Hi there, Martin from Salvo Migration with a partner visa application and relationship timeline case study. The purpose of these videos are to show you what real life partner visa cases look like in terms of relationship histories and milestones of couples before partner visas were applied for, and then how long a partner visa took for this particular couple, to give you an idea of what you might be able to do in your relationship, what type of documentation you might start to collect if you're looking to apply for a partner visa at some point in future, and also get a gauge on how long the application may take depending on when you're submitting yours. So this case study relates to a subclass 820. It's an onshore partner visa application. The applicant held a UK country of passport, so they were from the UK. They were in a de facto relationship at the time of the partner visa being submitted, and the partner visa was granted on the 4th of January 2023. Application was made on the 30th of June 2022, so roughly around a 6-month processing time. We received a request for information on the 23rd of November. So let's say a few months after lodgement, we received a request for information from the government, and generally those requests will be things like medicals or police clearances. It's unlikely that they would have requested too much more, because we always ensure that we provide as much of the relationship documentation as possible. And more often than not, when we receive requests, it's just to get the medicals finalized before they can ultimately grant the visa. So that's the application timeframe. So lodged 30th of June, RFI November, and then granted just early in the new year. So a good new year present for this couple. Let's look at the relationship. Okay, so these guys met online on the 19th of December 2019. Okay, so modern common way to meet people these days is online. And then they met in person, had their first date a couple of days later on the 21st of December 2019. They introduced themselves to their friends, so their friendship circle, on the 28th of December 2019, so about a week or so later. And that's more or less when they considered that they started dating exclusively. So they started dating exclusively on the 29th of December 2019, about a week or so after meeting online and then meeting in person. They then introduced themselves to each other's family around that point as well. So they obviously knew that this was going to be serious, so much so that as soon as they committed to each other, in terms of committing to the exclusive relationship, that's when they introduced themselves to each other's family. They went on a holiday about a month or two later, and then they nominated each other as beneficiaries to their superannuation policies in April 2020, started living together in July 2020, and opened joint bank accounts in April 2021. So just keep in mind that what we're talking about here, whenever I'm mentioning dates, always keep in mind the date of application, the date that the partner visa was applied for, because that's really what matters. What you and your partner do before a partner visa is submitted, such as moving in together, opening up joint accounts, and trying to follow in the footsteps of these successful couples, will matter, will make an impact on the likelihood of approval for your case, but also potentially the speed in which it's processed by the government. So keep in mind, joint account was opened in April. This couple then engaged our services in March 2022. So they had already been in a pre-established relationship for about a year or so before they engaged our services. We then encouraged them and worked with them to register the relationship as a civil union in May 2022, just prior to the partner visa being submitted. The couple also arranged wills in June 2022 and obtained their formal joint lease in June 2022, just before the visa was applied for. So this is an example of a couple strengthening their relationship, strengthening their facts just prior to a partner visa being submitted. And then obviously eventually, once it's lodged, it's in the hands of the department. And this case took 6 months to be finalized. In terms of summarizing the dates for this couple, I'll move my head across. This couple met approximately 30 months prior to lodgement. They were dating exclusively, similarly, around 30 months prior to lodgement. Started cohabitating a couple of years prior to lodgement. Started pulling their finances about a year or so prior to lodgement. And then kind of really quickly, bang, 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 obtained their joint lease, organized wills, and applied for their civil union about a month or so prior to applying for the partner visa. I mean, they already had those other kind of core foundational facts in history before, those three major milestones. But, it's important that they had both, I would say. They had each other nominated as beneficiaries to their super policies for a really long time prior to lodgement, 24 months, 26 months prior to lodgement. And as I said, applied for their civil union really close before applying for the partner visa. And none of that was a problem. It wasn't as if they rushed into these decisions. They took on our advice. Those documents were obtained. Partner visa was submitted and ultimately granted 6 months later. So I hope that this case study helps you and your partner identify perhaps any areas of weakness in your relationship, what you might be able to start implementing now with the view of preparing a better application, being in a stronger relationship, as in being able to prove your relationship better to the Australian government. It's one thing to have facts, to argue that you have certain facts in your relationship. The other is to be able to prove them. Okay, so you must prove the facts that you are claiming. And the way you prove them is with documentation. If you'd like to learn more about how to prepare partner visas and what it requires in terms of what really it takes to get partner visas granted, of course, learning from these case studies is extremely beneficial. However, we also have what's called Partner Visa Secrets, which is exclusive 5 hours worth of partner visa training available inside our Facebook group, which you may be already inside of. If not, there might be a link somewhere in this video for you to join and start streaming those modules. That's it from me, Martin from Migration. I hope this video helps, and I'll see you guys on the next video.